All right, what's up, everybody? Today is October 8th, 2015, and I wanted to do a daily review. I wish I could say that I had some big wins, and it's always fun to celebrate big wins, and we're all rocking, but I missed a morning trade execution. I made some mistakes. I didn't really do that well, and while it's not fun for me to admit that, it's very useful for you guys because you learn from mistakes, you learn from missed trades, and you can do better in the future. That is the beauty of trading. So, here are my trades today. I made a few $100, a little under $1,000, but I didn't do, either of them really that well. First, I'll begin with WGBS because this is the chart that I have here. This one was the biggest percent winner pre-market, and I'm always looking to buy pre-market winners, especially when they have a history of spiking in the past and they're up on earnings. This is a low flow play. It's run in the past, and so this is an earnings winner. So I'm certainly looking to buy this, not looking to short this. And I was trying to buy this right near the market open, right around here in the 230s, because it was breaking out. The volume was so strong, and I just missed my execution. It moved too fast, and then I wasn't going to chase it. It's kind of good though that I didn't get executed, because if I did, it was really only good for like 6 minutes, where it went to the 260s. So even if I had given an alert, by the time you get the alert, it's already crashing, within a few minutes, and then people are like, oh, it's a Sykes pump. So it's kind of cool to see the stock, spike. Even though I gave no buy alert, I missed my execution. But the cool thing is that a lot of you are trained to buy right at the open, in the 230s, 240s, and sell in the 250s, 260s. That's amazing. And, I got to give props. This is just from the chat room. I copy and pasted a few of them. There's so many more, but the chat is moving too fast and I'm trying to trade. But this is a great trade by Belof, in at 238, out at 263. I'll get to Vivas in a second. Bellissimo was in 176, out at 211, made 20%. This is actually fantastic. Butterfingers was in at 225, out at 265 for a $2,000 profit within 4 minutes. And North Coast was in at 229, out at 260. Here's RN Trader in at 220, out at 240. And this one came a little later. This was Drew James. SB out at 240, 5,000 shares, out at 265, then 2,900 shares and 13,000 shares at 250 from 147 and 127. So, literally making, I can't even do the math, but this is like $15,000 plus in a few days. Here's Titus. I guess I'll just go over all the students right now. Titus was in Vivas at 161, out at 211. And Bursa Maniac shorted PACB at 770, out at 740. And he thanks me and Tim Grattani. Woodruff was in at Vivas 167, out at 215, made $600. Thank you, Tim. You are awesome. The Army loves you, at least from my standpoint. You are the man, bro. Your How to Make Millions DVD has been so beneficial. Awesome. Thank you. I love the Army too. I'm glad that you guys can get paid the money that you're deserved. I know that the Army and the military, you guys are a little underpaid for everything that you endure. So congrats. Golden Jones made a solid $900 profit on Vivas, got in at 204 with 4,500 shares, out at 225. So let me go over all the potential angles. So what I like looking for is not just, is the stock going to go up or down today? There's different angles. So with WGBS, the main angle is that you want to buy it for a morning spike because it can be a runner. And that's exactly what happened. I know some people like to short. Tim Grattani likes to short into these morning spikes. I think that's very, very scary. It's obviously rewarding. You would have made 40 cents a share on the downside within a half hour shorting it, but you never know how far it can go. And I'm just scared to short earnings winners. I did try and buy this late day though, because I thought that it could break out past this midday high of 245 and retest the 260s. It did break out a little bit to 250. So my alert was right in here, like at 238, 240-ish. So there was like 10 cents of upside, and then it came down, and then it actually double topped here at 250-ish. I made a little money on this. I'll get to meat in a second. I kind of wish I had lost money because it sends the wrong message. to you guys were like, oh, look, I want to make money. I was wrong about this stock. The only thing that I did good, the reason why I have a profit is because the breakout was so weak. I held it for nearly a half hour, which seemed like an eternity. The stock is trading 15 million shares, so it's plenty liquid. But when I'm looking for a breakout, I'm saying, look, it can break 245. But when it only goes to 248, it's like, that's kind of a weak breakout. That might even be a double top. And when I want a stock to break out, I want it to be convincing. And I talked about this at my Vegas summit last week. So you have to be very careful with these kind of fake out breakouts. In hindsight, I probably should have sold everything, but I wanted to give it a chance. It's an earnings winner. I thought that, just locking in here was playing it safe. And that's why I have an overall profit. Next year, I'm going to be trading with just $12,000. And it'll be much clearer to you guys. Like, people literally think that like I'm in this to make like 200 or 300 or 500 on a trade. And they don't realize that I trade in order to teach. Every single trade that I do, good lesson, bad lesson, it all becomes lessons so that you can learn. I don't mind my buy here where I'm thinking it's going to break out and it's better than actually buying it at the breakout. I'm getting that question. Some people are like, Tim, if you think it's going to break 245, why not just wait for the breakout? Well, this is the exact reason why. Because what if I did buy that breakout at 245 and then, I'm losing 10 or 15 cents? I like going in to an earnings winner where there's just very little risk buying it in the 230s. This is what I love. Like, it has a solid support here at 230. So when I'm buying in the 230s, the risk is only like 5 cents. And if it does break 245 and goes to 250 or 260, it can be very quick. And you have to also remember, because I'm not just trading for myself, I'm trying to teach in real time. If the breakout is quick and I give an alert and the stock is already at 260, then people are pissed. So sometimes I'm going to try to anticipate a breakout in the afternoon or even in the morning, and I wasn't quick enough on this execution. And I wouldn't try and trade this midday. I'm getting a lot of questions. I don't like trading midday. So I missed the morning. I was wrong in the afternoon and I cut losses. And, this still might spike tomorrow. Perhaps I'm playing it too safe. But when I go in with a specific thesis that I think it's going to break 245 and it doesn't, I play it safe. And that is how I trade. That's how I teach. And I think that's very useful for you guys. My first trade of the day was on MEET. And this was basically another scratch. These are scratches for me. And I know you guys with small accounts is confusing when I make $600 and you're like, wow, Tim, that's great. It's a scratch. And when I'm trading again in just a few weeks with just 12,000, you'll understand that it's a scratch. And that's why I'm going down to such a small amount, because I think this is a little confusing for you where you think this is a win. MEET, was another prospective earnings winner yesterday. And I thought that it could retouch 2, which was longer term resistance. And it just never got there. I got out right near the market open, mainly just because, I saw WGBS. It was a more exciting earnings winner. And this one, even if it went to 190 or 195 or 2, it was going to be a small winner. It wasn't as volatile. We didn't get the analyst upgrade. We didn't get any media overnight. No Seeking Alpha article or anything. So it was speculative. But again, the good thing that I did here was when it was, failing to break out yesterday. And this is a very common thing where sometimes people say, hey, when do you cut losses? Sometimes I take profits, not because I want to, but because I want to teach you how to play it safe. I was holding this thing for several hours yesterday and it just was not breaking 195, which was afternoon highs. So I sold basically just to reduce my position and reduce my risk. And a lot of you guys can learn from that when a stock isn't breaking out to its highs, whether it fails to break out. I mean, meat failed to break out by like 4 cents. And the other one, WGBS did successfully break out by like 4 cents. But either way, that's a weak ass breakout. And, it's good to take money off the table. And those of you who are under the pattern day trader rule, you don't necessarily have to break the trade up into 2. With the pattern day trader rule, as you'll see when I'm under that annoying rule next year, I'll sell my entire position because I will be wrong. And I don't want to, break a small position. I mean, I'll be buying like 1,000 or 2,000 shares up. So I won't have to break it up. I wanted to give it some time overnight to see if it could run, but when it was pretty dead at the open, I just got out and selling into some strength yesterday was the only thing that I did well. So that was me. I also want to talk about VVUS, which I specifically said, I don't want to gamble on this, the icon news. Today we had the icon news, and many of you thought that I was going to be buying this at the open. It went from like 205 to like 225, so you had a nice 10% bounce. And I know several of you guys banked from holding from the 160s or 170s, but this was kind of, disappointing, given this billionaire is now a part of this company and in control of this company. It was a weak percentage gain, and I said that from the beginning, and I didn't even trade it, and it finished at its lows, and it might bounce a little bit, but I don't like weak moves. You see how tough it is to trade. You see how tough it is to time these things. So unless you get a big move, it's very difficult to try to profit much. PACB was probably the best play that I missed today. And this one was running up the past several days. You had a solid breakout, and you had, a little bit of a panic this morning. In hindsight, again, I would have missed this initial short just because I was dealing with my meat and I was trying to buy into WGBS. But when it bounces and fails to go green, this is actually one of my classic patterns to short. I love this pattern as opposed to shorting into strength in the morning spike. I like shorting a morning spike when it fails to go green on the day. And this is probably the most perfect candle in the world where it failed to go green here at 780-ish. And, if you get a short off at 770, 775, and, you're covering, this is at 9:55 a.m., in the next 10 minutes, you're up 60, 70 cents, 10% on your money, because it is now a failure to go green on the day. And that's a great opportunity. And then here again, late day, you have another failure to go green. Although I'm more scared to short this. Several of you guys were asking me in the chat room, it's failed now at 780 a few times. Should you short this? I don't like this all day gradual uptrend. This is what I like, a failure to go green in the morning, and you oftentimes get a quick dip. But all day uptrends and then failure to go to 780, it still might squeeze. It might actually go green at the end of the day, and then all the shorts are scared and squeeze and they cover. It actually did fail at the end of the day, but I greatly prefer shorting a failed red to green type of candle in the morning. So these were the main plays: WGBS earnings winner, VVUS billionaire play, PACB kind of speculative chart play, and meat earnings winner. And I made a few $100, but again, it was a scratch. And I know it's frustrating. I'm getting a lot of emails from you guys where like, Tim, there's these scratches, trading is so tough. Yeah, trading is tough. But whether I make or lose a few $100, and I'm, frankly, I was wrong. I thought meat could spike. I was wrong. WGBS, I was right in the morning, but it was so quick, it's probably better that I didn't even get it, because it would have been a buy alert and then a sell alert like 4 minutes later for 30 cents a share. So I'm glad that you guys did it without any buy alert or guidance from me. But I was wrong in the afternoon on WGBS. PACB, I just missed this opportunity here. There was just too much going on, and I just straight out missed it. So I want you to hear this word. I'm wrong. I missed it, because this is trading. This is what successful traders do. It's not just about, who can be right the most. It's how can you be wrong and still minimize losses, because you're going to be wrong. And I was on the right track. PACB, had I seen this, I would have nailed it. WGBS, I was there for the afternoon breakout, even though it wasn't as much as I thought. Meat, it got a little higher from my buy. I'm glad I dip bought it and I didn't chase it. But all in all, it was basically a scratch. So this happens. There'll be days like this. Mama says, okay? And I'm so proud of you guys. This is awesome. Like, you guys were doing this all on your own. I don't know about speculating on the icon news ahead of time. I warned against that. But this is a great play for a quick 10%. Here's a nice 15%, $2,000 profit in 4 minutes. This is without an alert, and this is my hope for all of you, where you learn to become self-sufficient traders. You don't need buy alerts, you don't need sell alerts, and you have the plan in your head. This is what I talked about at my Vegas conference. So congrats to so many of you. Bursa Maniac got a nice short on the failure to go green here on PACB, so that's pretty sweet. And we'll have more opportunities. Every single day brings new opportunities, new charts. If you miss a trade, you can usually get another trade similar to it in the next few days. So remember, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Even if you're paper trading or trading with a very small account, you can learn from these trades. And I'm going to learn from my trades today, and we'll start tomorrow again fresh. See you guys in the chat room.